What character do you want to see in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and today I want to talk to you guys about my wish list for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. We recently got a bunch of new gameplay, breakdown, analysis. We saw the HUD, we saw new characters, trailers. There's a lot of things that is really hype and really excited right now about Sparking Zero. And I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it's kind of hitting every single note. I'm not gonna lie, the gameplay looks solid so far, the movement looks fluid, the roster is gonna be fire, and that's kind of what we want to touch on here today is the roster, because let's keep it a stack. A Tenkaichi game is not a Tenkaichi game without a crazy big roster, and they've already made it abundantly clear that this roster is going to be massive. I mean, we have Kakunsa, which I highly doubt most of y'all even remember that character existed prior to her announcement and her reveal for the game. Like, yeah, we all saw the Tournament of Power, we all watched Super. Well, most of us, maybe some of y'all didn't, because a lot of Dragon Ball fans ain't actually watched Dragon Ball. It's weird, but I ain't on y'all head today. Today, we're talking about the roster. I asked you guys in my previous Sparking Zero video if I made a wish list talking about the characters I want to see the most. Would you be interested in that? A lot of y'all said yeah, so that's what we bring you here today. Now, before we do get into that list, I do want to say I have a couple of honorable mentions, because even though this roster is going to be very expansive, obviously, inevitably, there are going to be some characters to get left out. First group I want to get out of the way is actually the Angels and Gods of Destructions from other universes, specifically like Liquor and Hellas, you know what I'm saying? Like the Fox God of Destruction, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of boxing and throwing some hands, I ain't gonna lie. We're seeing a little bit from him. Hellas, we haven't seen a whole lot from, but I just want her because I like her design a lot and I want to see her in the game. And let's be real, it was a lot of useless characters in Tenkaichi 3 that we all didn't use or you know what I'm saying? No one really cared about, but they was there just felt the roster, make the roster bigger. So, you know, if I want Hellas in the game, then I want Hellas in the game. And then also the Angels, specifically Vados, Kusu, and Marcerita for reasons. You feel me? Next, Timebreaker characters, Xenoverse characters, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that would entail like Timebreaker Bardock, Towa and Mira, maybe Demigra. I don't think those characters really have any chance of being in Tenkaichi, but it'd be really cool, or excuse me, in Sparking Zero. But to me, it'd be really cool to see them. I would really like that personally. I don't know about you guys. Mass Bardock or Timebreaker Bardock was one of my main characters back when I used to play Xenoverse. And yeah, I know, crazy to think, but I used to play Xenoverse once upon a time, and I was kind of nice at the game back when I played, but I don't really touch that game with a 39.5 pole these days. But Xenoverse 2 itself is a game with a crazy roster that has a lot of characters. Some of these characters I'm about to name are actually in Xenoverse 2, and I hope to see their return in Sparking Zero, but only time will tell. That being said, those are my honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes in the main list. Wait. Forgot one. Miris, okay? I don't really go get into detail like that, especially if you haven't actually read the manga. You don't really know who Miris is. All I'm gonna say is, yeah, he one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? Miris, you A-okay in my book, but go ahead, throw him in there. Go ahead, throw him in there, all right? So, kicking things off, we're gonna go from 10 to 1, you know what I'm saying? From like the ones I guess I'm the least interested to the most interested in. And the characters on this list, some of them I think are probably going to be in the game, like have a very likely chance or a high chance of being in there. So much so to the point they might not even be worth naming. And then there's other characters on this list that like, it's kind of 50-50, or maybe they'll be a DLC. With that being said, let's get kicking it off with top 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Tarble. And I don't know if people care about Tarble as much as I do, but he was playable in Raging Blast 2. And frankly, to me, he was one of the only redeeming qualities about Raging Blast 2, because that's one of my least favorite Dragon Ball games of all time. But I know, torches, pitchforks, dislikes, whatever, I don't care. I understand, you like Raging Blast 2. You know why you like Raging Blast 2? Because Raging Blast 2 was your Budokai 3. When I was growing up as a kid, we had the Budokai series. Your first game when you was 8 years old was Raging Blast 2. That's why you like Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 instead of the good games. But it's fine. Anyway, Tarble was playable in Raging Blast 2. We first got his introduction in Yo Son Goku and his friends return, and we were like, oh shit, Vegeta has a brother. It was really cool, and he just has, you know, it's not like the coolest design ever, but it's just another Saiyan, and I like him, and he's cool. He's got a scouter, and I just want to see Tarble. I don't know. Up next, coming in at number 9, this is actually 2 characters. I'm cheating, but who cares? It's my list. You want to fight about it? Goku and Vegeta Jr. Yeah, from Dragon Ball GT. I don't know how many of you guys saw like the special. Is it a special? A movie? We just talked about this recently. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Goku and Vegeta Jr., those are characters like I want to see, just because, and we're just talking about like having the craziest roster that you can have for Sparking Zero. There are certain characters that are going to be a bit more obscure, a little bit less popular, but are there just to please everybody, and well, I'm everybody, okay? I always thought Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. were really cool. When they showed up at the end of GT, I was like, oh, yeah, this is sick. Goku Jr. wears a headband like Bardock. I like the outfit. He's wearing the Goku's old clothes. I think it's really sick. I like the homage. I like the design. They go Super Saiyan. They can fight. They can hang with the best of them. It's a lot of other characters that's going to make this roster that ain't even as strong as they are. So if it comes down to strength, it is what it is. If it comes down to popularity, Kakunsa's in the game. You know what I'm saying? Once I saw Kakunsa get revealed for this game, it's everything is off. Is like there's no longer any limits. Like no holds bar. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is fair game. So let me get Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr., especially Goku Jr. because I'm a big fan of his. I like the movie. Next up, at number 8, we have Future Gohan. Now, Future Gohan to me seems like a given. He was in the Tenkaichi games. I don't really think there's gonna be, I don't think there's any surprise, like tension. There's no mistake. Like he's gonna be in the game. But Future Gohan for me is actually my favorite Gohan. Although there might be another version of Gohan who makes this list that I also really want to see. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but my favorite like movies or films or whatever in the whole Dragon Ball like universe or franchise is the History of Trunks special and the Bardock Father of Goku special. Okay, I think those are better than the majority of movies. The only movie I would put above those is Dragon Ball Super Broly, and I just like Bardock and Trunks more as characters. And Bardock's actually not on my list, but Bardock's gonna be in the game. It's a given. Okay, I play Bardock and Trunks in every Dragon Ball game ever that they're in since Budokai 3. Okay, I'm not even worried about it. But Future Gohan is like my favorite version of Future Gohan. I think a big part of that, I don't know about you guys, but it's the hair. Like I really like the haircut. The scar. He goes out like a badass in the movie, you know what I'm saying? Him fighting the androids, Dolo. Like, yeah, I play Future Gohan in Tenkaichi 3. I play Future Gohan in Xenoverse 2. Any game that has Future Gohan, I normally play him. I actually hoped and prayed for a long time that he would make his way into Dragon Ball FighterZ. That never happened, but if it had, I would have played him. Matter of fact, I even have a Future Gohan figure up here on my shelf, which I don't want to grab because it's a little loose. I'm gonna grab it anyway because I need y'all to understand. You see this fella right here? This is the GOAT, okay? That's the GOAT, okay? That ain't Gohan, that's Gohan, you feel me? Next up at number 7, we have Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and Vegeta. And again, kind of cheating here, throwing 2 characters in the spot, but I'm not convinced, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm not convinced just yet that GT is going to be in this game, at least as part of the base roster, okay? I'm confident GT will be in the game, but kind of maybe more as DLC, because you got to think about it, right? GT is kind of like the most irrelevant part of Dragon Ball when you think about it. It's not canon. It happened a long time ago. It doesn't get brought back up. Like obviously Z is Z. Like it goes without saying, like Z characters, the Z arcs, the sagas, whatever, that's gonna be there, okay? And then Super is the most recent part and everything like that. And then you have like Daima coming up where they're going to be kids again, which kind of ties back to, you know, original Dragon Ball, but original Dragon Ball is also like where it all started. And I know that like in a lot of modern games, like original Dragon Ball kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot of times, but GT kind of does as well. Like they're both kind of like OG Dragon Ball is kind of forgotten about at times, both by fans and by developers. And then sometimes GT is kind of like the black sheep or like the stepchild or something like that. But I also think that like a lot of people like GT anyway, because when they were kids, they just thought the characters looked really cool, myself included. Super Saiyan 4s are my favorite transformation, like in the entirety of Dragon Ball still to this day. I like that shit way more than I like Super Saiyan Blue, for example. But that's just me. That being said, if the GT characters like Super Saiyan 4s are not in this roster at launch, I'll be a little bit disappointed, not too surprised, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they added in as DLC. That being said, they could probably be in the game on the base roster and they'll add other GT stuff as DLC, like Super Android 17 or like Super Baby or whatever. But it just feels like that's just kind of how things go lately. Like if you look at Kakarot, right? Did Kakarot even cover GT at all? I don't think it does, right? It just stops at the end of Boo. And then in Fighters, I don't think Fighters had any GT characters at launch, but we ended up getting obviously GT Goku and Super Baby. We never got Omega Shenron, but we did get Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But that just feels like how it goes these days with games. Like they focus on Z, they focus on Super, they might throw a bone at OG Dragon Ball, and if they're putting GT in the game, it normally comes in as DLC. There's got to be, like, because the roster is going to be so big and expansive, but you also got to consider the amount of characters that Super is adding to the roster, right? So they're going to put like everything that you remember from Z. OG Dragon Ball is probably going to be in there. I just feel more confident about that than GT. And then they might give us like Super Saiyan 4s, and then everything else might be DLC. I don't know, because there's going to be DLC. Like that's just part of the business at this point, right? But as long as they get in there in some form or fashion, I'll be happy. It is what it is. Now, you could also make the argument that like, oh, but Tenkaichi 3 had GT, so why wouldn't it be there at the start? And it's because like this roster is going to be huge, but DLC is inevitable, right? So they have to make money somewhere, whether that's going to be with the movie characters, but like, are you going to exclude like Janemba or Bojack? Or are you just not going to keep out? But even then, though, we already know DBS Broly's in the movie or in the game, and like maybe like the Gammas or like the stuff from the superhero movie. Like, are you gonna make that DLC? But that also feels like something that'd be in launch. Like they have to make money somewhere. They're gonna sell us some characters. So it's just like if you're gonna pick which ones aren't gonna be in, I just feel like it would be GT. But I don't know. Like I understand the arguments like, oh, all the GT stuff was in Tenkaichi 3 though, and like you would want to believe that, oh, they're just gonna have the entire Tenkaichi 3 roster plus more. But I just don't think that's how it's gonna work. But I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But there's something like whether you're taking the manga stuff that's not out yet, or you're gonna have to remove some stuff in order to add it in. Yeah, that's just how things is gonna go. Moving on to number 6. Speaking of superhero, the 6th character on my list, or not 6, but like number 6. Well, it might be 6, but considering that I had 2 and 2. It's Super Gohan, okay? I mentioned Future Gohan earlier, right? And said that he was my favorite version of Gohan, and that part of that is because I like the way his design looks. I like the haircut, I like the way the gi and everything looks, with the little sleeves, you know what I'm saying? Coming out like the scars, whatever. Dragon Ball Super, or like Superhero Gohan, let's call him Superhero Gohan, right? He might have my new favorite cut for Gohan, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, let him rock the glasses too. Let him rock the glasses too. They can come off when he transforms or whatever, but let Blood rock the glasses. I like the look. The haircut he has in the superhero movie might be my new favorite Gohan cut. I'm not gonna lie, the look is kind of fly. One way or another though, I need to see Superhero Gohan, and then of course by extension you could throw in some other characters, because I'm not gonna hold you. The Orange Piccolo is not on my list, the Gammas are not on my list. Those are characters that by extension, yeah, they're gonna end up in the game as well, but I want to see Gohan more than those, and I didn't put them on my list because this is my list. And you might have the Gammas above Gohan, I don't. You might have Orange Piccolo above Gohan, I don't. But yeah, give me Superhero Gohan. Of course Beast Gohan goes along with that, even though as cool as Beast Gohan is, and I want to see it in the game, it's kind of silly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the movie is cool. I like it a lot. It's one of the best Dragon Ball movies. It's like probably top 5, top 3. It's not my number 1 because Devious Broly's my number 1, but it might be like second to that. Beast Gohan is cool. The hair kind of goofy, like just how big it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember Codename Kids Next Door? Some of y'all might be a little bit too young, but most of y'all remember, right? Y'all remember Codename Kids Next Door? Remember when they had that parody episode of Codename Kids Next Door where they had like the little Dragon Ball Z skit, and number 4 was Goku, and he had like that big ass hair, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think of when I see Beast Gohan. When that nigga turned to the side and his hair is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna use it for sure. It's content, I'm gonna go crazy for this game. But I actually want the base form more than I want Beast Gohan. Is that crazy? Is that insane? It probably is, but I'm really big on hair and aesthetics and things like that. I don't think that's much of a surprise for some of y'all, but yeah, Gohan. Coming in at number 5, we have none other than my boy, the one and only Tapion. Again, Tapion could be a given. He was in Tenkaichi 3, he's in Xenoverse 2, and he was my most requested character for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, that being said, he never made it into DBFZ, but you know what game he did make it into? Xenoverse 2. You know when he made it into Xenoverse 2? Like a year or 2 after I dropped that game. And I'm not gonna lie. There was a part of me, like, I stopped playing that game because I just felt like it was so bad, but like I was is close to reinstalling that game and playing it just to try him out because he looked really cool and really fun. Tapion is one of those characters that as soon as I saw him, I just thought he was way too cool with the mohawk and the fit and the sword. He's got a sword. Come on now, y'all know me and my sword, boys. But yeah, he's in Tenkaichi 3. I played him a lot back then. I would have played him a lot in Xenoverse 2 had he gotten there any sooner. And if they ever added him to DBFZ, he probably would have been one of my main characters. He's definitely gonna be in my rotation in Sparking Zero. I'm pretty confident he'll end up in the game, whether that's base roster or DLC, time will tell. But yeah, him and Hirudegarn on both. Because Giants are going to be in this game too, and I didn't really think about that a whole lot because it's Sparking. So there's going to be like Great Apes and Hirudegarn and Fat Janemba and that was Cell Max is probably going to be in the game as well then too. You could probably play as Cell Max. I'm getting sidetracked, but I was like, the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm like thinking about it because I haven't like thought too in depth about some of these things until now. Yeah, give me Tapion. Up next at number 4, we've talked a lot about Dragon Ball FighterZ in this video so far, right? Only makes sense. It's the game that I was the most known for prior to like Tekken 8 and talking about all the Sparking Zero stuff. It's what I built up most of my channel. My following off is what most of you guys know me for, and I love that game and played it dearly for 5 years. Really, maybe more like 3.5 years, that last year and a half or so. But that being said, Dragon Ball FighterZ had a brand new original character introduced in that game that now has a special place forever in my heart by the name of Android 21, who's now also canon to the Dragon Ball world. We now know that she is named Vomi and is actually the father of Android 16 and the wife of Dr. Gero. And for my number 4 spot, I've got Android 21. I love that character. I played a ton of Majin 21 in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I know that people have like their stigmas and their bad taste in their mouth, and like lab coat was broken in DBZ. I get it, but she is genuinely a really, really cool character whose design I absolutely love. I think she's a very beautifully designed character. I like the lab coat, the glasses, the long hair, the red and blue color scheme. She's really cool, has a lot of really dope animations. I think she also was in Xenoverse 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think she did get added as a character in Xenoverse 2 as well. And I don't know what like the legalities are, like with the copyrights or like how that works. I don't know if the licensing like works out to where they can do that. I don't know if that what would have to go into that, but I would love to see Android 21 on the Sparking Zero roster. Definitely a character that I would add in my rotation. That's why she's really high on my list, because I generally really like Android 21. And now we get into the top 3. Third one's a big spoiler. The next 2, you probably at least know who they are, whatever. But if you ain't read the manga past the Dragon Ball Super anime, this is your final warning. All right, cool. We good? Okay. All right, bro. I need Ultra Ego Vegeta. Okay. I don't know how many of you guys have read, but Ultra Ego Vegeta is that gas. I need that. It's way cooler than Ultra Instinct. Are you kidding me? Have y'all seen it? Bro, what the nigga is raw, okay? Also, I don't know what is one of the official like Dragon Ball Twitter accounts changed like their profile photo to Ultra Ego Vegeta, which is really weird because they don't normally do stuff like that. They don't normally acknowledge like the manga content that's ahead of like what they're doing in video games and anime and everything like that. We haven't seen him anywhere else, I don't believe, outside of the manga. I don't know if he exists in any other game, including like Legends of Dokkan. He might, because they always get the new shit, right? But as far as games that like matter, or at least games I care about, you can't play as him yet, and I need him in this game. Now that's another one of the characters that like, because he's manga only content, he hasn't shown up in any anime or anything like that. There's a very good chance he's not in this game, and if he does get added in this game, I would say it's most likely going to be his DLC. But that is a character that I really want to see. I think at launch this game is going to have I believe they said 13 different versions of Vegeta. But yeah, there's going to be lots of Gokus and lots of Vegetas. There's going to be even more coming as DLC. At the end of the day, the point remains that I need Ultra Ego Vegeta. Moving on to number 2 on my list, we have none other than the GOAT himself, literally, Moro. Son. So at this point in time, I'm almost up to date with Dragon Ball Super. I believe I'm like 3 chapters behind on the manga, right? However, before I caught up to the manga, I heard all this hype about Moro. What's crazy is I heard a lot of hype about him and how raw he was, and then like people saying that everything was, it's weird. It feels like before I caught up, everyone's opinions changed. I heard a lot of negativity about the arcs that follow after the Super anime. Let me talk to you, bro. Let me holler at y'all real quick. The arcs that come after the anime in the manga are leagues better than what the anime actually had. Tournament of Power, don't care. Okay, Universe 6 tournament, even my beloved Future Trunks arc, okay, it's pretty good. I think that's the best arc in Super, personally. Them next couple arcs is even better. Moro is one of my new absolute favorite villains in Dragon Ball. I need him in Sparking Zero. I don't care. He's not gonna be in the roster at launch. There's just no way. Okay, if he makes it in the game at all, it will be through DLC. Sign me up. So where my wallet? Take my money, bro. Take my money. I need Moro in this game. He's just way too cool. Now I will say the ending of the arc is a little it's a little but it's alright. Like it's a good enough ending for a Dragon Ball arc, because like at the end of the day, like I grade Dragon Ball on a different scale than I grade other series, because I know what to expect and I know what I'm getting out of Dragon Ball the majority of the time. That arc is fire. That arc is fire. You know what other arc is fire? You know what other arc is fire other than the Moro arc? The other arc in the manga that comes after the anime. Coming in at number 1 on my list. Number 1 on my list. The number 1 character I'm hoping to see in Sparking Zero that he probably not gonna make it, but if he does, that's a main. Granola. Give me Granola. I don't care, bro. I don't care what you heard. Granola is lit. Granola is him. I need Granola in Sparking Zero. If Granola is in Sparking Zero, that is a top 3 main character for me. He is raw. I don't care. If you have not read the Granola arc in Super, go read that. Oh, that is better than the Tournament of Power. I don't care. I don't know when the opinion changed on Moro and Granola on those arcs or whatever, but like when I was reading through those, when I was catching up, I was like, yo, this is gas. I wish I had the manga right here to show you. I've probably got a picture of something on screen now, but like I wish I had the manga right now to show you the cover. But I remember when I went to buy it before, a while back, it was sold out and I never picked it up, which reminds me now to go pick it up because I need that, right? But yeah, no, Granola and Moro are 2 of my like new like favorite characters. They might be my 2 favorite characters introduced in Super. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Zamasu is cool, Goku Black is cool. I like Hit. It's some cool characters that have been introduced into Super. You know, all the gods and angels and beers. That's all well and good. I think Moro and Granola are like my 2 favorite characters that Super has introduced. I think those arcs are fire. I like both of them a lot. I think they're both really dope aesthetically. I think their fighting styles and moves would be sick. I think the animations would be crazy. And if I could have one character at the top of my list, if I could pick any one character to be in the game that I don't think has a chance or probably wouldn't be in there at launch or whatever, it's Granola. I'm a Granola fan, okay? Say what you will. But with that, boys and girls, that concludes my list. That is my top 10 or so wish list for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, feel free. In fact, I want you guys to flood the comments of this video with your top 10 wish lists, or just however many characters, you know what I'm saying? Whatever characters you're hoping to see in the game, let me know in the comments down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content that I'm bringing you. And with all of being said, it's pretty much off today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.